The Andrew Lake Podcast.
Now in collaboration with Acid Quote Tees.
Feel the rhythm now. All connected.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What a beautiful day to be alive. Can you believe that this big blue ball keeps spinning? This fine old world, it keeps spinning around. Very warm welcome to the US of A. New York to San Francisco. We're gonna have a disco. And our listeners around the world tuning in to the Andrew Lake Podcast. My name is Doster Andrew Lake, and we are now so proud to announce that we are collaborating with Acid Quote Tees. Every episode we are bringing you one acid quote from the Book of Quotes. Have you heard of the Book of Quotes? Of course you have. Everyone knows the Book of Quotes. Well, in my world, the Book of Quotes is actually 12 volumes, right? Because you've got the Book of Quotes, but it's not just quotes. You've also got quotes as in things your uncle says. There's a whole volume on that. And then there's philosophical quotes, and there's a whole book on that. And what we're focusing on here, our specialization, our niche, is acid quotes. What is an acid quote? Well, someone asked me once, someone who listened to the podcast and who's seen a lot of the quotes that we've got on Acid Quote Tees. And she asked me, wait, hang on a second. How much have you done acid? How many times have you done LSD? And I go, no, that's not exactly it. Well, that, in a sense, is partly it. But actually, you can get an acid quote without necessarily being on acid. Because psychedelic consciousness is available to you with chemicals, with the aid of substances, but also, far less commonly known, is that it's available without the use of those special chemicals. So this is an amazing realization to have. This is something to respect and uphold and adhere to, sort of a life path. And that's what we're putting on here. This is what we're going about. This is what we're sharing, these acid quotes. So I hope you're feeling good on this beautiful day. I actually just got back from a Vipassana meditation retreat. 10 days of silence, a whole lot of hardcore sitting still, sore ass, sore legs, many insights, many experiences of psychedelic consciousness, many realms of openings, multidimensional mind, new insights, self-realizations, wisdom, personal transformation, all that good stuff. That's amazing. It's amazing. I love going on a 10-day Vipassana retreat. I've done quite a few now. I think I'll have to share some stories. I'll tell some stories maybe later on in the episode. I'll tell you a little bit about some of the funny things I got up to. What have we got for today? I don't want to look into your eyes forever, just until we disappear. This is one of those ones that you really have to be familiar with perception dynamics to get it. When you study and practice and get involved with perception dynamics, there's a whole lot of things like expanding your field of, what would it be? It would be like your field of focus and your field of the perimeter of blur. So you know how you have there's this general idea with your vision of sight where you have a focus point and around the outside there's this blur, right? Sort of like how a camera works. But the thing that's less known is that you can actually expand and contract and change this blurriness to focusedness, ratio. And this is something that really works so beautifully when you have a partner, a Tantra partner, and you do eye gazing, right? So sitting cross-legged, holding hands, and gazing into each other's eyes. And this can be done either as a private exercise or as something that's done with a facilitator, a meditation facilitator that is guiding you into different things. And with a partner, you can explore all sorts of experiences, right? You dissolve your ego, you enter into their essence. There are cosmic realizations. There are different boundaries that collapse and open. There are heart openings. And it turns into a bit of a game because just even beyond the techniques, there's also games you can play, right? It becomes a bit of fun. It becomes a bit of a playfulness. It becomes an exploration that you do with your partner. And the great thing about this sort of world of Tantra and perception dynamics and eye gazing is that when you meet the right person, it's not actually a technique. It's not actually a process. It just happens. It's not like you say, oh, okay, you and me, now we're going to sit down and stare into each other's eyes for 4 hours. It's not like that. It sort of just happens. With the right person, it just naturally occurs. You just go, whoa. You look at your watch and you realize, hang on a second, we've just been staring into each other's eyes for 4 hours. That was amazing. That was beautiful. So many amazing things. When I was in India, I met this American girl. Well, she was Indian, but she lives in America and she's actually a doctor. Amazing, amazing woman. And she had these big Indian woman eyes and that fiery Indian peace within her soul. And she just emanated soul, as so many Indian women do. And she could also see it in me, right? So we met and we didn't really even talk much, but we just like looked at each other. It was like we were just gobsmacked by seeing each other. And it wasn't over the top. It was subtle, right? It was a beautiful thing that was soft and sensitive and peaceful, right? This is a peaceful experience. And anyway, we're eye gazing one time and she looks at me and she can obviously see that my whole heart is just bursting for her. And she goes, you can't stare into my eyes forever, even though you might want to. And I said, I don't want to stare into your eyes forever, just until we disappear. And then it just I think this might have been my best pickup line. I think it might be my best pickup line of all time, actually. So, yeah, that's a little bit about that thing of looking into each other's eye and like the thing of disappearing as well. Like people don't understand that ego dissolving, this is disappearing, right? All the stuff that is you disappears as you dissolve the ego, which is exactly what happens in perception dynamics and how... Okay, hold on a second. Wait, someone's here. Oh, it's Chris.
Hey.
Chris,
Oi.
I'm recording a podcast.
Hi.
Do you want to join?
Oh, sure.
We have to use the same microphone.
What about? What is this about?
Well, I'm just talking about my usual stuff. How are you?
Great. How are you? I'm just drinking some water.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Going around?
What are we? Yeah, going around in circles mostly. What's the theme?
Well, I just got back from this Vipassana retreat.
Oh, cool. Yeah. How was it?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Pretty good.
Is that it? 10 days of pretty good?
Yeah, well, I mean, I know you've done some.
I'm sure there was more than just that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you break any rules?
Did I break the rules? Well,
There are many rules. So I'm wondering, did you break any at any point?
well, I did actually cough on day 3. I also sneezed.
That does not classify as.
I
There are
sneezed
no
on day
rules.
7.
No. There are no rules against.
But in my defense, that was actually not in the hall. It was in my room.
Give us the gossip. What did you do? Did you ever like? Did you eat outside of mealtime? Did you eat past?
I didn't do that, that's for sure.
Yeah. You did not eat past 12 p.m.
Oh, I remembered what I did.
What did you do?
So in this course, it's like men and women, like, because it's only a small centre, they run only men's course and only a women's course, right? So this course was all men's. But what they had in the room was the men's mattress and the women's mattress.
What
So-
on earth? What do you mean?
So like
Why?
one night I was like,
That's crazy.
okay, so I just wanted to, here's the thing.
Okay.
This is my confession. I wanted to feel all sensual and feminine and have really sexy dreams and like, you know, get into the feminine feeling. So what I did was I took the female mattress and for one night I put it on the bed and I slept on it.
Holy shit. That's horrible.
Is it bad? Is that breaking the rules?
Wait, how did you? Were you in a dorm? Were you in a private room?
No, private room. Yeah.
So where was the female mattress? Was it like under the bed?
Yeah.
So you just swapped them.
Yeah, I just swapped them. I just wanted to have sexy dreams and then...
So no one's gonna know about it. You're just telling us because this is like full disclosure.
Yeah.
And, okay, so
And then I woke up in the next morning and all I had was a sore back.
wow, that was probably karma, instant karma. And do you think?
Is it bad? I mean, it's not unhygienic.
Look,
I wasn't naked.
it's not that bad. Like I've definitely done worse things at Vipassana to break the rules, but
Do you want to confess on here? You know you're on the record right
not
now.
really. Do I? No.
It's probably best not to.
No. I've
Confess to me off record.
I have broken many rules at Vipassana.
Well, I mean,
It's the only way
but
that you
that's
get
good.
through.
It's
That's
good.
the only way that you can get through. Listen, that is the only way, right?
I disagree, but go on.
But there were no mattresses. There was no mattress segregation when I did that. So this is very new for me, and it's very wild. And I don't understand. I want to understand their thinking in separating the mattresses, because what happens? Like, do we like ooze different like body oils? Like,
Well, I thought it was an energetic thing, right?
It's an energetic thing, obviously, but they would never say that. Like they would never
Yeah.
plainly state that. They would never say, "Oh, it's for energy reasons. We can't mix the mattresses." What do you think they would say if you went up and asked them?
They'd probably say it's just hygiene.
It's just hygiene, right? But
Yeah.
we know that it's not.
But maybe it's not energetic if I didn't get sexy dreams.
But you got a sore back, so you know.
So maybe it is.
gotta amount-
That's proof that it
gotta
is.
amount for something. Oh wow. Very interesting.
Okay, anyway, do you want to, like, are you staying or you're going or you got to...
Well, I've got to go.
Okay.
Gotta go throw up really quickly.
What?
So
Okay.
I won't be able to
talk you later then.
continue. Talk later.
Enjoy your vomit. Thanks for coming.
No problem.
Okay.
Talk
Bye.
soon.
See you
Bye.
later. All right. Well, that's Chris. I hope she feels better. You don't think she was going to puke because of that story I told her about the mattress, do you? No. She was just saying that. Or maybe she's just feeling unwell. I probably should have said that. Should have said, I hope you feel better. Anyway, thanks for coming on the podcast, Chris. That's a little bit about her. One story I didn't get to tell her was that when I was on this Vipassana retreat, during one of the sessions, a big storm came over. What happened was the roof started dripping. So I felt this drip on my shoulder, right? This drip of water coming down on my shoulder. And of course, as soon as it started happening, I thought, well, what would a Zen master do? And it's sittings of adhiktan. So you're not supposed to open your eyes. You're not supposed to move. You're supposed to be still as a statue. So I thought, well, I'll stay still as a statue. And anyway, it kept dripping and it started moving as if it was going along a beam and then dripping down. I could imagine it dripping down. And it made its way into the top of my head, like the absolute dead center of my crown chakra, right bang in the top of my head, just dripping, drip, drip, drip. And I was just like, this is some sort of realization happening here, some sort of synchronicity. And of course, the hardest part about this was keeping a straight face, because I couldn't, it was quite difficult to not burst out laughing, right? My want was to just burst out laughing. And I thought the guy behind me, if he sees this or if he hears this, he's going to think I'm some sort of meditation genius for just sitting there and taking it. And then also I had this fantasy of like the manager seeing me and the teacher seeing what's happening and what's going on. It was this huge head trip, right? And anyway, the dripping suddenly stopped. And I thought the manager had got up and come over and put his hands out, like seen it and tried to stop it because it had stopped so suddenly. And I couldn't exactly tell because there was so much thunder and so much loudness going on in the room. But anyway, then the storm subsided and there was a long stretch of silence. And the session came to an end. And I checked my, head, and it was actually dry, right? It was pretty much gone, all the water that had dripped. So it was like, oh, well, no one's going to notice. No one's going to see what happened. So I thought, well, I should probably mention this to maintenance, but then I thought, well, actually, maybe not. Maybe I should just leave it. So now I like to think that there's, someone sitting in that meditation spot anytime there's a big storm and they're getting crown chakra droppings right on them. And of course, it turned out no one knew anything, right? The teacher didn't make a look and the manager didn't make a look, and I even later at the end of the course told this story to the guy who was sitting behind me, and he had no idea. And he actually thought it might have been a fabrication, like a vision, and that because I was dry, I had not even been dripped on at all, and it could have just been a complete fabrication. But I actually think I'm in touch enough with reality to know when I'm getting drips of water on my head. Some other things, well, we might not be so sure about, but yeah. And it's funny because in Vipassana, these sort of moments become these huge realizations, right? When you're sitting still for 10, 12, 14, 15 hours a day, these become huge events. They become existential. They become deeply energetic. And of course, throughout the course, throughout the 10 days, particularly over day 5 and day 6, in my room alone, in the sessions, outside of the sessions, there's vast explorations of consciousness that you just can't describe. Like the whole way in which you experience reality changes. The very substance of thought and feeling and perception becomes something really different. And I would wish everyone to have moments of their own that are beautiful, that are true, that are real, that are vast, that are cosmic. So, yeah, I would recommend anyone to do a Vipassana retreat. And of course, also I would recommend anyone to head on over to Etsy/acid quote teas and check out the quote of the day. I don't want to stare into your eyes forever, just until we disappear. Thanks very much for tuning in. This is the Andrew Lake Podcast. Hoping you're having a beautiful day. Top of the morning to you, Captain. We'll be back soon with more. Stay safe. Keep it real. See ya.